basically Goldman Sachs drive this program called Engineering Campus Hiring Program. They drive this program for the off-campus recruitment for the interns. I guess more than, I mean, around 70, 80,000 students apply every year for this internships and full-time roles. If you are posting one correct answer, it is +5. But if you are for the one negative answer, for the wrong answer, it's -2. Like he just interview told me to solve Sudoku. And I solved Sudoku. Then this process is pretty long. You have to be a bit more patient. I mean, like aptitude round was in July, August, and then coding round was around September, October. And I mean, one day prior to the interviews, they just mailed that tomorrow your interview is scheduled. So it was hectic. So I wasn't even expecting that I'll get the interview at that time. I've already got an offer from one more company on campus, which was Oracle.
Okay, guys. So today we have with us Utsav Thakkar, and he is from Nirma University, and he completed his BTech in 2023. So he did his internship in Goldman Sachs, both of his internship, and also got converted full time in Goldman Sachs as a software engineer. So today we'll get some insights on how he cracked Goldman Sachs, what all resources he like used to prepare for it, and how was his experience at Goldman Sachs. We'll get to know all this so that you can get some insights. So yeah, I'll let Utsav Thakkar to introduce himself.
So, hello everyone. As Kanak introduced me, I'm currently working as a software engineer at Goldman Sachs. Prior to that, I have done my both of the academic internship at Goldman Sachs only. And talking about myself in my college, like fascinated by problem solving, I most of my time went into competitive programming. I also served as a president at Computer Society of India and club director at Core Data Programming Club. And like apart from all this music, I like music. I like playing cricket, badminton, and all those sports stuff.
Yeah. That was a great introduction. So we'll start off by were you really interested into coding side from before, or it was just the hype that made you go into that side? So were you interested in from like first year or college itself?
Hmm. I mean, yeah, that's a good question to be honest. So before enrolling into this course that is computer science, I was barely I was barely aware how what these guys do and what is it all about. Like we just knew, just like all of us doing it. So just for the sake of it, I just enrolled myself into this course. But after enrolling, I consider myself a bit lucky because I got mentored from some of the coolest seniors, and I was fortunate enough to be part of his clubs, societies, part of organizing sessions, workshops, hackathons. I got to build my network, got to connect with some of the smartest minds, across industry, across various domains. So, I mean, like after connecting with these guys, I genuinely like I started figuring out, what exactly this field is about. So, what I believe is, one of the core one of the core fundamental of this domain is the problem solving. So, if you're someone who loves to solve problem, it's just like if you're writing any function or any API, at the end, you're just it just corresponds to solving some problem. So if you're someone who loves problem solving and who are into problem solving, this is something which which will never disappoint you. Yeah. So that was something which kicks me in. So I started with competitive programming in my second year, and doing competitive programming, it was really good. It's just like it clicks on your problem solving ability, and it just improves upon that. So I got to be part of this prestigious competition. If you guys are aware of, it's called ICPC regionals. So I was part of ICPC regionals 2020 along with me and my teammates. So it was thoroughly a really good experience there. We used to connect with some of our seniors who are really good at it. We used to learn from them. And there were times, where we were the ones who were teaching our juniors how you can do competitive programming on these platforms, and how can take part in these competitions and excel at it. So yeah, it is.
Great. So first of all, this Goldman Sachs offer was off campus, right?
Yeah, it was internship offer, which is off campus.
Okay. So were you like from the very starting, where you started applying off campus? Like from where did you get this? So like, okay, today there is opening from this company. So how many companies
Hmm.
did you like keep applying on, and like what from what year, like second year, third year you started applying? So can you give us some idea on that?
Yeah. So basically, I just say that, I was mentored by some of the good seniors. So they were the ones who are, like I just got to know from them that, during the start of your third year, you'll get to have the summer internship at the end of your third year, for which you have to apply from the beginning of your third year. So there were some companies who were visiting our campus. Fortunately, one or two visited, maybe Deutsche Bank and one another company visited. But unfortunately, I like I wasn't able to crack that. But it is something which some of the seniors were there who were doing internship at Goldman Sachs, and they were the ones who were like, don't worry, you'll get to apply here and all. So basically, Goldman Sachs drive this program called Engineering Campus Hiring Program. They drive this program for the off-campus recruitment for the interns, and they drive this every year. Last year it was also there, and this year also it was there. I even posted this in our college groups for the students who wanted to apply and all. So in this program, they hired through off-campus people, and they basically, if I'll get into the procedure, so basically we had three basically rounds were there. First one was the aptitude round. Second one was the technical coding round, and finally the interviews. So considering the mass of the application, exactly, it was open for all of the students across India. Only, I guess, some CGPA criteria was there, but it was also 7.5 and above, something like that, not more than that. Yeah. So all of them can apply. I guess more than, I mean, around 70, 80,000 students apply every year for this internships and full-time roles. And we had first aptitude round was there. It was around 65 questions. 65 questions you have to solve in around 90 minutes. So it was all aptitude questions, and nothing technical was there. Just basic
And
math
also
questions,
the
mathematical questions.
resume screening was done like only based on CGP, or like was like
No, exactly. I guess there was no particular resume screening round. It is just like, if you just apply, you'll definitely get that link for the test. It was there. So all of my friends got the test link, and we all were there for this round. And in this aptitude round, basically, if I want to prepare for aptitude for placements in general or for internship rounds, there are a few of links which I have. So there is a site called indiabix.com where you can get all these resources for aptitude preparation. All the different types of questions are there according to the modules and all. You can go and visit there. There were some YouTube channels also which I'll post you that. I just have to
yeah,
recall.
I'll also put into
I can
description.
add it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can share it with you. That the things. And this were basically basic aptitude questions were there. You just need to make sure that there were thing like if you are posting one correct answer, it is plus 5. But if you are for the one negative answer, but the wrong answer, it's -2. So it's like it's much more a negative system. So it's like you have to make sure while if you have to be confident enough to post that question, and if you're able to solve around 35, 40 questions which are correct, I guess you can clear this round easily. And after the aptitude round, we had one coding round, which was, I guess, 2 months later. And in coding round, there were five, I guess, three or four sections were there. First was coding section. Second was math. Third was CS fundamentals. Fourth was subjective answers. So it's like in coding, there were two coding questions which you need to solve in 30 minutes. And those two coding questions, which I'll rank it was basically easy to intermediate level of coding questions were there that weren't that much of hard. The questions were about, as far as I can recall, they were just about implementation problems, basic stacks, queues, and sets problems, maps problems. And after the coding question, we have one math section was there. And in math questions, there were questions around trigonometry and probability. Basic trigonometry and probability question is like if you are prepared for JEE in your 11, 12, it won't be that much of a big thing for you. And after that, it was one was CS fundamentals question. It's like basically They were questions around, time complexities of data structures. There were questions around object-oriented programming, operating system, database management system. Some basic se- uh, 10, 15 questions were there, MCQs were there, which you need to solve in around 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And after that, two subjective questions were there. So in subjective questions, basically, you might have given some scenarios like, like if this thing happens to you, or like, a scenario like, if some of your colleagues, it's like basically some work scenarios given. It's like your colleague is your some of your colleague is not available and he has some work pending. So how will you react to that situation? And there were some basic standard questions which you can find answer anywhere on the web, and you can just prepare for that before the round, and it will be easy. So my tip for this round will be like, don't skip any rounds, because there were some of my friends who did pretty well in coding round and other rounds, but they skipped like subjective questions round and all. So they weren't qualified. So I assume that they have, section-wise cutoff for this round. So it is advisable for you to, attempt all the sections, and it has its time limits. So if you're prepared well, then it's not that much of difficult as I can, like, compared to other companies coding rounds and all. And after once this is done, then the last round were interviews. It was around December. So this process is pretty long. You have to be a bit more patient. I mean, like, aptitude round was in July, August, and then coding round was around September, October. And I mean, one day prior to the interviews, they just mailed that, tomorrow your interview is scheduled. So it was quite hectic. So I wasn't even expecting that I'll get the interview at that time, but it's fine. Like, they just made that, your interview is scheduled for tomorrow, and just be prepared and all. So talking about in my interview, there were three interviews, and like, they were pretty simple. I mean, not that much tough. The questions asked during my interview were basically, let's say, some data structure questions were there. It was around, basic, as far as I can recall, it was questions around strings and stacks and queues. Some questions were there, and they were pretty simple, not that much hard. And the questions were there around my projects, what projects which I've done as for like this was during my third year, so like I didn't have like any dev projects as of, like, apart from some normal websites and all, but I had projects of operating systems, like, have implemented those scheduling algorithms in C++, and also the questions were around that, and some basic DBMS queries were there, some questions around oops were there, and like, yeah, this only, and all the three rounds were technical only. There was no HR round. And one thing which you should prepare for is puzzles. So mostly in all Goldman Sachs interview, you will find puzzles, and they'll ask puzzles for sure. So you can prepare for puzzles from Geeks for Geeks. I mean, 50, 70 puzzles are there. And if you're like, it's good to know, like, if you're prepared, it will be good for you to, come up with a solution. It's like on a preparing for a bad day, just preparing for a bad day, that, like, you're not able to come up for a solution, and it might ruin things for you. So it's better to prepare for the puzzles and go. And yeah, so these three rounds were there, and I guess just after 1 week, we got the results, and fortunately, I got selected.
Great. So how long did the third round last? Like 1 hour or like more than that?
Mm, each interview were around 35, 30, 40 minutes. I mean, like, the max one was 40 minutes. It's like, some of the basic tips which I'll give, how to, approach a question, or how to approach a data structure questions. I mean, all of you might be knowing it, but it goes like, first thing is, whenever the interviewer is explaining you to a problem, please listen it carefully. Like, please don't miss out on details. If you have some doubts, any doubts, please clarify it before, or else, your time is getting wasted, and you're getting nothing out of it. So please clarify. If you're not sure with something, they will be happy to explain it again. And how it goes, like, you just think of a solution, and before coding it, just you can explain your solution to them, and then you can start coding. And while coding as well, you can think out loud. So there is a technique called think out loud. So whenever you're even sitting idle and thinking, it's good, like, you can speak what you're thinking, so that, just they can recall it, like, you're not sitting idle, you're not confused, you're thinking something, and you're maybe thinking in the right direction, wrong direction, they can guide you as well. So this think out loud approach always worked for me, and you should also do that. and just go with the time after writing your code, explain your time complexity, explain your space complexity, discuss about details like if there is any scope of improvement in time complexity or space complexity, or is there any other solution which is there. And these things are pretty, I mean, cool. And the more you communicate with them, the more you make this thing interactive, it will be good for you. So try to make it more interactive and all.
What was the ratio of like DSA to resume questions? Like how much of it was on DSA and how much questions were from resume?
So basically, in each of the rounds, one data structure questions were there. I guess the second round was pretty more focused on data structures. I mean, there were two, three questions, and they all were on data structures. Like I got to code two, three different problems, or like single problem was given, then an enhancement on that problem, and one more enhancement on that same problem I have to code. So second round was just data structure round, but the first and the third round, I got to code some questions, but apart from them, I mean, I can say 50-50%. The rest of the questions were on, around my resume. It's like, if I have operating system project I have done, then they'll ask me, what are scheduling algorithms, why do we need them and all. And there was some questions around like, some basic data structure questions like what is difference between graph and trees, and some basic questions around OOPs, like, what are the four pillars of object-oriented programming, and what is multiple inheritance, why it's not allowed in Java, and all those basic diamond problems and all those problems were there.
Understood.
So if you want, then I'll definitely share this resources with you, which I prepared for my interviews, like for the
Yeah, it
internships, for the
would be a
placements and
great
all,
help.
like
Yeah,
the operating, all yeah. You can just directly add that in your description.
sure, sure, sure. And okay, so what all platforms did you practice on? Like, so this was on third year. So like, what are platform like Lead Code or Geeks for Geeks? What did you practice on?
So basically, I would say on every platform I have practiced, but I guess it's not something which works for everyone. So, uh, like starting with my coding journey during second year, it's like the COVID just happened, and we all were at home and not sure what to do, anything. So, I'll insist on one thing that if you're a college student and you're in second year or third year or first year, you should have your coding buddy. So I had my coding buddy, my friend, and we used to code together. We just started together. So it's just like something somewhere you should start is from hackering. You can start exploring the problem solving part of hackering. Once you get used to the basic C++ STL or basic that standard library of Java which is there. So if you once you know what are maps, sets, stacks, queues, and all, you can start with how to this problem solving part of the hackering. Then once you're used to it, you can start exploring platforms like Codeforces, Codechef. Like many people skip this and directly go to lead code. That's also fine, but I'll suggest that if you have nothing to do, then competitive programming is the thing which you should explore in your college. It will make your problem solving skills more smart, more sharp. You can stand out, from like you can stand out there from the people. So you can give contest on code forces, code chef. It's like, if you have a coding buddy, then you can discuss, and you can upsolve the problems that you weren't able to solve during the contest, and it will be a good help. And we just started it from there. I started it from HackerRank. Then we got to know that there is a platform called Codeforces or CodeChef. Then we went on these platforms, and we were practicing problems. We were giving contests, and like for me, it weren't like, we were doing it some topic wise. So let's say in this contest, I discovered some graph problem or some dynamic programming problem which I wasn't able to solve. So that stuck me hard. It's like, okay, this type of problems I'm not able to solve. Then reach out to seniors and I reach out to people, just do a blind search on YouTube or somewhere. You'll just get plenty amount of resources, from where you can learn graph and from where you can learn DP, dynamic programming. Then you can, once that is learned, then again I'll give contrast, and then I got stuck at some segmentary problem, or I got stuck at some try problem. I mean, these are not something which they ask for interviews, but it's like, if you're learning this way, if you have enough time, then this is the best way to learn. It's like, you just do and explore stuff. Wherever you get stuck at, you can just pick that one and, you can learn if you have plenty much amount of time.
Mhm.
And contrary to that, if you're someone who is in third year and you just want to prepare data structures for your placements and for the interviews, what you should do is basically you can just pick up. There is a one YouTuber called Stiver, everyone knows,
Yeah.
and he has this playlist for data structures. It's like he has his own set of questions for data structures. So there are 100 questions or 150 questions. You can just, start with these questions and, just prepare those questions and also build the intuition around it. So it is a less amount of problems which are there you can go through and try building some intuition. It's like if you encounter similar type of problems in your interviews, then you'll be able to solve it. So for a person who is in third year and has no idea about data structures, this is the way you can go to. But if you're someone who is in first year or second year and you have plenty amount of time,
Mhm.
then obviously the first one which I did is a good way to learn.
Very great. So interesting question comes up. What all YouTubers did you follow? Like whose DSS sheet did you follow, and like some good YouTubers that you would like to suggest? Like you mentioned,
There's a
Striver.
problem of trending nowadays. Yeah, but it's like you can, whatever you're doing, you just pick one and stay with them. It's like you just don't need to move from this to this to this to
Hmm.
this. So like it depends on your how much amount of time you have. If you have less time, then I would suggest that Striver's DSA sheet is, I mean, a go-to solution for that. And even if you have a good amount of time, even I had good amount of time, but even I have gone through that sheet so that just to make sure that I don't miss out on any topics which are I mean hot topics for the interviews and which are must go to questions for the interviewers. So even I have followed that list, but it was easy for me because as I already knew this data structures and something like that thing was sorted for me. But apart from that, if you want to learn, like stuff like operating system, database management system. So recently, before my placement, I was just going through this stuff and I came across there is one channel guy called Love Babbar and he has some
Hmm.
channel called Code Help. There he has, uploaded this channels like courses like for the DBMS and for the operating systems. There were like videos, playlist of around 30, 40 videos,
Hmm.
and which are very, I mean, they are very exhaustive. It's like if you're prepared, if you've seen those videos and if you're prepared from them, so I guess there it is, you got it covered everything. It's like,
Great. So, yeah, apart from Goldman Sachs, did you apply for any other off-campus opportunity like so, or you can just list out like these are some good opportunities that you should apply for apart from Goldman Sachs.
so it's like I haven't applied, but before I got my pre-placement offer, it was a bit late, so I have already got an offer from one more company on campus, which was Oracle. And for the Oracle also, like it was like I got my pre-placement offer a bit late, so I wasn't sure whether I'll get it or not. So I was applying through companies and all. And on campus, I got this opportunity from Oracle. And even if I if I can explain the interview process for Oracle, it was pretty simple. It was Oracle Gandhinagar, and there we had it was an on-campus opportunity. So obviously on-campus opportunities are pretty easier to crack than off-campus opportunities. And in on-campus opportunities, we had this coding round. First was that in coding round we have two questions, and these questions were pretty, I would say, pretty intermediate to hard because the second question that we had was around DP, and there was one more thing in like you just need to call a sample REST API and you just need to modify that response and you just need to return that. There was one question related to that as well, and some basic data structure question was all about a coding round and in the interviews as well. The favorite topic for the Oracle is recursion and backtracking. So I would suggest that if you're someone who wants to learn dynamic programming or you want to learn graph theory, well, then recursion and backtracking are the go-to topics. They form the foundation for them. So it's like just go through this topic, questions like n queen problem, Sudoku problem. So these questions were asked during my interviews at Oracle, and these questions were pretty, I would say, intermediate because not something which like these questions, if you haven't prepared for them, if you haven't gone through these questions, then it will be very difficult for you to get to the solutions intuitively.
Hmm.
So uh, the data structure questions were like this, and there were some DBMS queries, join queries, and all. And the last round, I know we like they he just the interviewer told me to solve Sudoku, and I solved Sudoku. Then he told me that just write code which you can like it was basically the standard backtracking recursion problem where you just need to solve Sudoku. It's a standard recursion and backtracking problem which is there, and like, I wrote that whole code and we tested on various test cases and scenarios, and like this was all. So
Great.
this was our Oracle interview, and the Oracle is also a pretty good company to go for if you're someone who is looking for that. But now coming on to your question, which is off-campus opportunities. So I have applied for some internships into some startups at Ahmedabad, and I also interviewed for the same. And they were they were pretty cool, but fortunately, I got an internship offer from GS as well. That is 6 months internship, which I wasn't expecting before. That's why I have applied for the same. And you can go so for those off-campus opportunities. One thing which you should keep in mind is be active on LinkedIn, be part of your groups. So it's like in our group, my friends used to send opportunities. I used to send opportunities. It's like something which everyone shouldn't be missing on. A second thing is if you know some startup is hiring, if you know some companies hiring, then reach out to the HR of that company or reach out to an employee of that company. So and directly, you can cold email them, you can directly ping them on LinkedIn if you're able to connect with them, and you can just directly tell them that these are my skill sets, this is my resume, and I would like open for any internship opportunity or full-time opportunity which you have. Even I did that when I haven't got that internship at Goldman Sachs. So basically, I was even applying for various internships and all, and fortunately I got one, but like I didn't went there because I got this opportunity from GS. So yeah, and you can do the same. And for the off-campus companies, to be specific, there are companies like D-Show which will hire D-Show reach out to people on LinkedIn. It is around, I guess, after Jan Feb, they will start reaching out, and they'll start an interviews and preparation. I know some of my seniors who have got into D-Show in such way off campus. There are companies like Microsoft and Amazon hiring before, but I don't think so. They're hiring now, uh, since 1 year or two, and maybe we can hope they will next year.
Great. So now coming to a bit on Goldman Sachs side. So as you have worked in Goldman Sachs for long, so first talking about internships. So did they previously give you training when you joined as an intern, or like they directly put you in onto some project and then you started working on their project from the beginning itself?
Yeah, so basically we didn't have any professional training. Most of the companies don't have it because it's just an 8 weeks of internship you have, or maybe maybe more than 10 weeks at max. So if they train you, then you won't be able to work. There are some unofficial trainings which you have. Let's say if I'm working on some tech stack, then they will recommend that you can just go through this Coursera course, or you can just go through this Pluralsight course if you want, or you can just directly refer to documentation and you can just go through that. So like my internship experience in Goldman Sachs was really good. It's like I got to learn about many tech stacks and many new things which I wasn't even aware of during my college. And people were pretty very much like I would the thing stop the good thing about the company's people, it's like you got to interact with so many people, and the people who are managers, the people who are leaders are very much available on the floor. You can just directly go to them, talk to them about their journey, what you should do. They will genuinely give you feedbacks. And like one thing which I would like to advise on the people who will be doing a summer internship, and you want yourself to get converted or to get a PPO, there are a few things which you should make sure. The first thing is, whatever problem is given to you at first, don't just get overwhelmed, because obviously it will be something which you weren't knowing, and even the company people don't expect you to know everything because you are just an intern or a fresher coming out. So first thing is that. Second thing is don't shy out on asking questions. It's like like you can directly ask questions if you're stuck at something. Don't just they won't feel it like you don't know anything, because it will save you a lot of time and it will be helpful
Mm.
for you only. The third thing is ask for feedback. So it's like after a week or two, or after 2 3 weeks, ask for feedback from your managers or from your peers as well whom you are working with, and they will genuinely give feedback on, what things which you are working and all. The second thing is, you at your internship, you are not there to work, you're there to learn, basically. So your work might or might not have that much of an impact there at the firm, but you are definitely there to learn. So, do engage with people around, talk to your managers, talk to other team people, talk to other interns, do network with them. I'm still in touch with my summer internship friends and all, even though they are in different cities and different places. So just talk to them, people, get engaged with them, talk what they are working on, talk how your work is affecting the business side. Don't only, just don't assume stuff. First thing is, don't assume stuff or clarify everything and all. So don't be shy, just ask for
That's the
questions.
reason also many MNCs compulsorily call the interns to office, like they don't give work from home because
Hmm.
they can come here and network and really learn. That's
That is something which I would, yeah. Nothing apart
great.
from that.
Okay. And lastly, any final advice that you would like to give to your juniors, like for placement or any other thing, like any final advice that would help them?
Yeah, so for the people who are in college, who are in first year, second year, I mean, like, it's like you have plenty much amount of time, but there is, I guess, a lot of things to explore. So you can just start off at any point which you want. It's if you're even if you're in third year or midway third year or maybe in fourth year, it's never too late for you to start. You can start with, exploring this problem solving things. You can start with exploring, building out cool stuff. I like genuinely, what I feel is, what I regretted is I didn't participate in so much of hackathons, which I regret now, because I was just might be I was just not aware about it. I was the one who was organizing hackathon during my second year, third year. But after that, I got to know that no, these things are very cool and you should participate. So it's like from the very first year, if you're someone who are, into problem solving and all, just do participate in these events and do connect with people, ask out questions. I mean, the also enjoy enjoy your college life. It's something which we are missing a lot. And if you have
Great,
any questions, you can like reach out to me, or I would be really grateful to help.
great. It was very great advice. And Utsav, thank you for coming to this podcast and sharing your insights with the juniors and all. So yeah, it was very helpful. Thank you.
Lenny, thank you so much, Kanak, for inviting me.